presentation, and I just want her to lay out a couple of guidelines for what we will and will not do here.
And I'm shooting video.
You go right ahead. It's a public place. You do
So
it.
speak loud.
Jacqueline?
Especially if we get traffic.
Absolutely. So I'm Jacqueline from the Law Department. Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to say we are here this morning, at least as far as the ZBA is concerned, I think, to just walk around. Thank you so much for showing us around. We're here to make some observations. I would caution the board to be mindful of the open meeting law. We're here to mostly to learn this morning, I think, as opposed to, I think, if we have any questions or kind of follow-up thoughts. Let's save that. This is not a public hearing this morning, right? And so let's keep those thoughts in mind, but maybe save them if we're going to need to discuss them for the next actual public hearing, the next date.
And if members of the public have concerns for members of the board, please hold those for the public too. We do not intend to get into conversation or debate about anything substantive with members of the public or with the applicant at this morning's meeting. This is not a hearing, this is a meeting, as Jacqueline has said.
Yeah, so I think, and to kind of add on to that, I think if there are questions too, Adriana Enriquez, our clerk, might be a good place to start. If anyone needs to contact her via email, she's always very available.
Okay. Who's leading off here?
Robert.
I will for now. I'll start it off. My name is Robert Ford with Mark Development. So why don't we, do we have a site plan?
We don't. Scott probably does the plans.
Okay. All right. So all those who aren't that familiar with the physical layout of the property, this road coming down the middle here is called Kempton Place. It's a private road. It's going to, for the most part, be the main entrance into the site. So when you come in, if you recall, we have 3 buildings in total on the site. 2 of them are on that side of Kempton, and we have 1 on this side of Kempton. You may want to pay attention. Are we going to do a walk around?
Yes, we are. Yeah.
That makes sense. So I'll just point out a few things. You may want to pay attention on the walk around to the condition back with June Phillips glass. We can stop there and talk a little bit more about that. By the time we get up there, hopefully we'll have a set of plans. This is Rich Hallsworth from VHB.
Morning.
Do you have a set of plans for you, Rich?
It's my understanding that you guys are bringing them.
What's that?
I thought you were bringing them.
Okay. All right. So why don't we...
We have, the members of the board have seen the plans.
Yeah, I have 11 by 17 if you want it.
Okay, yeah, just as a reference. Maybe it's more for me.
I think what we should do before we go up there, I think we should just all walk down here to look at the drill. That makes sense, bro.
Doesn't matter where we end up there.
And Kempton, as you know from the plans, will come down and then curve around, and there'll be Brook Drive going off to the left here behind the buildings, adjacent to the drill.
Get back here, I'll explain this condition.
So this road exists, so this access point.
Yeah, it's never been operable. Right. I mean, as long as I've been familiar with the property. Yeah. So, Rich, you want to talk a little bit, very briefly, about this condition, what we're going to do back here? We're proposing gimmick improvements, or what our options are.
So we're there obviously has been a little bit. This is obviously a man-made waterway coming through here. It passes under Dunstan Street, and then it flows in this direction. There is, annual flooding that exceeds the bank condition within this channel, and then there's obviously more extreme events that come up and surcharge and backwater into this whole area. So essentially the strategy that we've devised associated with this particular element is kind of twofold. First of all, once the channel exceeds the defined channel itself, the flow becomes fairly ununiform, and it creates a lot of turbulence and it creates a lot of friction in the system, so it doesn't flow smoothly through this corridor. So the hope is that all this edge condition here, the buildings, the roadway, everything will be pulled back. Some additional floodplain storage will be provided at a low-lying level adjacent to the brook, and then that will afford the opportunity to have a much more uniform flow condition in here. And then a large flood storage area will be provided down here beyond kind of actually where the kids' barn is today. And then that will afford the opportunity to, again, have more flood storage in this area and keep that condition in a much more uniform area within the limits of, you know, the newly created green space. And there'll be a boardwalk to overlook that, you know, so that it can kind of engage the development, which will be set up higher so the buildings won't be susceptible to any flooding.
Where's the property line?
Property line is the center line of the brook. It does jog at the very end towards as you get up to Dunstan, but it is essentially the center line of the brook for this whole area.
And how
You're not
about
touching
this
the
way?
other side. You're not
No.
working at all.
And how far does it go this way? Just the other side of the barn building right there? Do you know?
Yes,
On the other
yes.
side.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of like that extension of the line next to the armory that comes down. Yeah.
Do we know the elevation of the boardwalk versus the existing condition on the ground now?
Careful.
Boardwalk probably versus where we're standing, it's probably about 2.5 feet. But that'll be set on piles. Right. You know, so you will have like the opportunity. It's more of a way to engage both the stream and the development, you know, and use that as a resource in the area.
We do flood. I live right here, and this is our wetlands property, and we do flood regularly. Are you saying that this will mitigate that on that side?
You know, there's a large watershed. You know, this is a small fraction of a very large watershed,
right.
so it's going to mitigate it from the standpoint as it should make everything, you know, a little bit more uniform conditions. So you don't have this, you know, like once the water starts to flood, it actually floods up beyond the door of the barn. You know what I mean? So that, you know, that water gets trapped. You've got water coming in from the National Pike culvert that's coming in right here. The daylight's just around that corner right there. So that's also, you know, like ideally when you have a flow condition, you keep the flow as uniform as possible. So all those things combined should have the effects of lowering the water surface elevation slightly, but it's not going to be a dramatic difference just because the sheer size of the watershed. We're only controlling a small fraction.
So we'll probably still flood more then?
Definitely won't flood more, but you know, it's not going to be like this. It's not going to lower it a foot.
Okay. So
Let's go
walk
back
up
up
this
yeah.
way, Steve.